Yeah, it's me, it's a Killer Bee, and you're watching That Way Too Cool Wrestling Show.
Hello and welcome to That Way Cool Wrestling Show. My name is Danny J. Thanks for joining us again. Remember, you can join us once a month right here at thatwaycoolwrestlingshow.com. Also, check us out on Facebook at That Way Cool Wrestling Show. As always, I got my compadres here. I got Charles Gemini Gregory. I got LeGrande, Onslaught Jackson, and man, Mark Lindsay on the show here today.
He was fired, that guy.
You know what? He didn't get the memo.
I'm like a fungus. I grow on you.
Yeah, you are.
You know, I deactivated his email.
You gotta get an antibiotic when he's around.
We got a show for you today. Some of you newer fans won't maybe understand the term. A lot of the older fans will. And we're going to discuss jobbers. Jobbers is a term utilized for those guys who went out there who, as a fan, you saw lose a match. But they actually were a much more important role than you realize. They weren't just fresh meat offered up to like lambs to the slaughter. They actually had an important job to play, and I think in some cases they were more of the superstar than the superstars they put over. LeGrande, let's go with you. What are your thoughts on jobbers in general?
Well, first off, I'm not calling anybody a jobber. You do the job. But for me, they were talent enhancement. Because for them to go out there week in and week out with these guys, they had to be 10 times better than the guy they were in the ring with in order to make them look like a superstar. Anytime Barry Horowitz stepped in the ring with somebody, you knew that Barry was going to make that guy the next thing coming, and he was going to work his ass off. Barry was a hell of a worker. No matter who it was, from Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, you can put him in there with anybody, and it was a beautiful thing to watch.
Oh no, you couldn't put him there way cool, Junior. I don't know. Dude.
I know.
He can't even make him look good.
Barry,
I'm sorry.
That gimmick fucking sucks.
oh my goodness.
Mr. Producer, he gets fined $10 for every time he says something negative
About my gimmick.
With that language.
About my gimmick. I don't even care about the language.
Like I said, but you had gentlemen like Barry Horowitz who went out there week in and week out and made you believe in the other guy. And for him to be able to do that is way beyond talented, because that's something that everybody can't do. Iron Mike Sharp.
Yeah.
Iron Mike Sharp was a big, imposing gentleman.
Forgot about him.
He would go out there every week with the gauntlets on, and he would pound you into the ground. And if you were a little guy, you had to persevere in order to come up over him. You got guys out there who you know them. You know them by name. You know them by gimmick. You know them by the music, the smell, whatever.
Steve Lombardi.
But the fact of the matter is, back in the day, that's who you needed. And to be honest, you need them now. Because I don't want to see a John Cena go up against a Roman Reigns. I want you to hold that off. I want to wait. I want to savor
not necessarily
it.
hold it off. I think it's you're just tired of seeing it also.
Well,
You know, I want somebody to get in there. Remember when whenever the guy came out, you be like, oh, here comes SD Jones.
Oh man, special delivery.
SD Jones is always that far away from winning.
Yeah.
Always, every show. And you just wanted ST to get that, any kind of title, you wanted ST to somehow, you get rolled up. But ST Jones came out. You couldn't tell me, he come out there, the man from Montego, but it was ST Jones. When the Repo Man came out, you knew what was going to happen. Repo Man, like you said, Barry Horowitz, take him to the limit every time, but made them look good. That's what I'm saying now, which I kind of hate. I think we talked about him in previously. To me, I'm watching Dolph Ziggler do that a lot of times, but I think he likes doing that. I don't know, but if you watch him, I've never seen anyone put their heart into. Look, anyone that can make what's his name, Feed Me More, Ryback look good. Look, that's good. The boy got a personality of a stone. He's not good on the mic. I'm sorry. Ziggler made him look like a god. Ziggler makes everyone look good. So it's like the jobbers are needed.
But at what point now you just took your investment? It's like that's
the thing.
It's like buying with a Ziggler scenario. It's like buying a brand new car, a real nice brand new car, and then entering it into a demolition derby.
Or putting in a cheap radio, right?
Okay, or putting in a cheap radio or something like that. It's like, at what point are you now taking your investment and you're creating work for yourself because now you're taking the Dolph Ziggler character, okay, and you're knocking it down, only to have to rebuild it again in another thing, or blame him for saying, "Hey, you're not over." You know, like you.
Well, look at the scenario now. You have John Cena, who may be out for several months with an injury.
Well, he should.
And right,
It's too much.
Oh no, I understand.
No. Let's get it right. I don't want any worker to get hurt. But there's so much of you can see.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even the fans, even though we always say cheap heat is better than any heat, negative heat. When they say John Cena sucks, they're just tired of seeing him. Let's be honest.
Right.
But he
he does so much goodwill. He's a good person, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I mean, the reality is he's done now what the Stone Cold Steve Austin did,
absolutely.
what the Hulk Hogan's did,
But he can
etc.
come back in 5 months if they want, and he'll be a hero again.
Right.
But you got to give him that break in between.
Well, now they don't have anybody to step in that spot because Dolph Ziggler has been jobbed out so much, the fans don't believe in him anymore.
See, that's what I'm saying. In that point, it's one of those scenarios where you just damaged a potential product that you have on your side. Like, you have your ammunition. And if I'm going to sit there and take my bullets out of my holster and I'm going to burrow out and get all the gunpowder, now I just made a blank.
But you guys aren't really paying attention to really that much to wrestling, because one of the most over people right now, or even I can say faction, I mean, they get their wins here and there, is Bray Wyatt.
Right.
He's ridiculously over. But think about who he's jobbed to.
Yeah.
He's done the job for the big boys. But you know what? That can be, to me, that's considered an honor, you know.
No, yeah.
But there's no complaints. In some sense, he is to a point a jobber. To a point, I have to say it to a point. But you understand what
So in other words,
what
you're saying that
what you're saying.
the definition of a jobber has changed.
it's changed. He's still
Yeah.
so, like Ziggler, like we'll say it again, he's still so over. But they're making these guys look good. You know what I mean?
Right.
They're pushing these guys to look like. If you like watching Bray Wyatt wrestle, well, we all know who his father is. If you don't know, you should be watching wrestling. They put people over. His brother, Bo Dallas, putting people over.
Yeah.
But they can work, and they make him look good. Yeah, but look at Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil is 6'7", 275, 80 pounds. He should be the next big thing.
Titus O'Neil should have had the title a while
Yeah,
back.
but in a point, he's a jobber to a point. He makes people look good, but he's also let's not get it twisted. He's a big ambassador for WWE, which is probably the greatest thing, dealing with things. But these guys, everyone can't be here. But there's some guys that are here that don't know when to step down. Like we were talking before, like I love Lesnar. The whole gimmick thing.
Yeah.
But there's so much of Brock Lesnar beating everyone up. Somebody has to step up one time and put their foot in his ass. Like we were talking before last time. You bring somebody like, I would love to see a match, and it wouldn't be a jobber, but he would take him to the limits, like take a Samoa Joe and put him against Lesnar. That would
Show
be,
Lesnar that he's human.
Yeah, that would be a great thing. You got to
Show
start
the
like
audience.
you have the guys here. He's selling all the shirts. Don't get me wrong, he's the man. But you also have to do this.
Yeah.
You can't ride the top wave forever without looking. You got to make it more realistic. I'm saying.
Yeah.
A guy can't win every fight. That's this.
And I think everybody's dad here always said there's always
somebody in that world is more badass than you.
Yeah. That's right.
For instance, it's like when you get the big belt,
Yeah.
You get the big belt. There are a lot of other belts that are out there that mean something as well. Okay, the big belt was cool, but I like the IC guy.
He was always the worker.
The IC guy was the workhorse. If you ever just go back and look at all the IC guys, they were who the big belt was for.
Yes.
But they needed that IC guy in order to keep the motor running. Because when Bret Hart did it, you cared about that belt.
When Michaels had it.
When Michaels had it, you cared. When the Warrior had it, you cared about
Dennis
the
Reese
belt.
did it with
Steamboat.
Cena.
Steamboat finally got
When he
the
was
belt,
doing that, I will give him that. That open challenge thing was great. Because you always went, who's going to come out? I was always looking for an old head to come out from back then.
They introduced the NXT
When Kevin
guys.
Owens came out, that whole thing really surprised me.
Yeah.
Because, like I say, these guys' egos. Ego's a huge part. But you're just like, wow. Even like recently we watched when Roman Reigns won in Philadelphia. I would never thought they would have did that.
Right.
In a million years.
And the fans cheered too.
Did you see
because
how
the year
TV
before at the Royal Rumble, they were booing him.
But did you see how it went? Did you see how people were like, oh my God, that just happened? But they know Philly fans, us being Philly fans, remember they said they were going to bring their pay-per-views back and we were booing?
Mm-hmm.
Because we know they're full of it, you know, so they know we know wrestling. We all know Philadelphia
Well, see,
based.
Yeah.
that
Yes.
Roman Reigns run, though, was the difference between jobbing and jobber.
Jobber.
Because I think he needed that sympathetic, hey guys, let's get behind this guy. He's losing. He got screwed out of the Money in the Bank by Bray Wyatt.
Man,
he got stuck in that feud. He jobbed, but he's not a jobber. Now he's the king.
Yeah, because I mean, no matter what you had, you go back to the beginning. There's always a jobber,
Yes.
and there's always someone that does the job.
Yes.
Coin his phrase, you know. But now, if I think back, I had the honor of meeting Ivan Koloff a few years back.
Great guy.
Wonderful man. And I was talking to him, and it was like, I said to him, I said, listen, my first interaction with JCP was literally you. And he said, oh, really? And he said, tell me about it. And I said, listen, back in the day, if you were in Philadelphia, Channel 29 had 2 hours of World Wrestling Federation, 10 and 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then on Channel 17,
had worldwide.
They had, well, no, not yet.
Okay.
They had another, was it Wrestling All-Stars?
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then JCP came into the market, and back then, there was no internet, there was none of that stuff. So you turned on one day expecting one thing, and something else is on. So I'm going through, as a kid, watching my stuff, and I turn on what I'm expecting to be a third hour of World Wrestling Federation, and now I'm watching Worldwide Wrestling from NWA, featuring the first match being Manny Fernandez. They're like the Raging Bull Manny Fernandez. I'm immediately seeing the production value. I'm immediately seeing some guy named the Raging Bull. And as a kid, I'm like, what kind of weird stuff is this? Like, I'm not used to it. So I'm like, this is like weird wrestling, you know?
It's less cartoony.
it was a lot less cartoony, and it was a shock to my system.
The biggest
So then
cartoon back then was Jimmy Fallon.
So the next segment is David Crockett with, and this gets into another thing, with another great jobber, George South. George, who still works today. Okay.
I thought he just passed away. Am I sorry?
No, George South. I don't
I think that's George Scott.
Oh,
that was George Scott. Yeah, George South. Yeah,
sorry about that. I'm not setting numbers.
With any disclaimer on the bottom of the.
Yeah, but George South was with David Crockett, and he had Ivan Koloff and I think Crusher Khrushchev with him. Okay, Nikita wasn't there.
Wasn't there yet.
And he's talking to David Crockett about a Russian chain match, because there was one coming up, maybe with Dusty Rhodes or something to that effect. And he was showing him the ins and outs of a Russian chain match. He was showing David Crockett. Okay, this is what a Russian chain match is about, which we all know it's like a Texas bull rope and everything else. It was pretty much the same things, and now you're using a chain. But he's paying George South, who's standing there, $20. I never forget it. He goes in his tights and he pulls out $20 and he said, "Here, Mr. George South," and he had the Russian accent, and he said, "Thank you for your time, and you're going to help me demonstrate." And he's starting to demonstrate, there's a lot of things we could do with a Russian chain match. We could do this, and we could do that. And he's lightly demonstrating, and then all of a sudden, he just takes this thing, and boom, takes him out of his shoes, right? And they beat the crap out of him. And then Crusher Khrushchev bends down and takes the $20 back and walks off. I said, I'm hooked. At that point, that was the crack in my system. And I was like, I am a Jim Crockett promotion guy from this point on.
I mean, you're talking, that is great. I do remember that. But we also had a lot of jobbers that actually kind of made it, but they never, like, won. Kamala. Mm-hmm. Kamala.
True.
They brought him in as, at the beginning, he was in China. He got in China. But think of 2 years after that. He was a jobber.
Yeah, but he was so good. Hogan, there's stories that say Hogan actually wanted to drop the title on him because he was a believable monster.
But what I'm saying is that goes back to other episodes we had. We were talking about the whole, good old boy network. We won't even get into that. We won't discuss that. That just starts things. But he, towards, like, even at his when he was up, you knew when Kamala came out. He came out against Razor Ramon. I'm just using that, two kind of different eras. He would take Razor Ramon to the limit, do the splash. He's gonna be laying on his stomach where he can't pin him.
Yeah.
Remember that whole thing? But he was actually a job.
But do you remember when he jobbed to Magnum TA? You know,
85, 84, something like
13
that.
something like that. 13
Is that the one, 13 seconds?
Yes.
Gave him the belly to belly, and
Sorry?
TA got him up and put him over in a good, like it wasn't a forced belly to belly, which is a credit to Kamala too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of guys don't realize that those moves that you're seeing are the interaction of both competitors. It's not that Magnum TA is just great at a suplex and he's the strongest thing in the world. It takes both guys. Hence why the jobber, you know, is someone that enhances that superstar. He makes him look good. You know, what does it take for Kamala to sit there and say, I'm going to leap up and give you the height that you need to get me over? You know?
Man. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
What's wrong with you?
I'm a fan, man. I'm not.
It's on the
Oh my
internet.
gosh.
Yeah, 'cause I like to see someone really try to arcade on my end.
It's on the internet. It's very.
I
true.
tell you though, I offered the
Views
job
expressed
to.
by Way Cool Dan, whatever the hell his name is right now, because I'm not being associated.
Me either.
It's his and his alone.
If you
I
want his
offered.
Agree with me, I will beat
If you
the
want his
dog crap
address,
out
When
of
I
you.
first started, I offered the job to Gemini here.
Oh, you offered.
Like
I
he had
offered
a
the job.
choice. He didn't have a choice.
I offered the job. I said,
This guy.
I got a deal for you. And I said, this is what we're going to do. I said, I'm going to get in the ring and you're going to try and overpower me. And I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to scream at the top of my lungs. I'm going to jump up on
The
top of
views
you.
expressed
And I'm going to crack you in
by
your
the
head like this.
130-pound
And-
guy about the 300.
And he said what I would do.
His and his alone.
He said what I would do is I would drop down on my stomach in Kamala fashion, and I would cover my face, and I would laugh my ass off until you left that ring. He said, because I said, I'll get on you, I'll be like, ah! I just started screaming on him. I said, then you'll go down.
I mean, I'm not saying like I'm knocking, but like we had a promotion that we were very involved with. It was ACPW. We're not supposed to use any names, but I'm just going back for info.
Yeah.
Me as being one of the big men, everyone wanted to remember all the. I had nothing to do with the promotion or booking at the time. All of a sudden they wanted me to do a title run. I was like, no. Yeah, no. Remember that went back and forth. Finally, I was like, fine.
Yeah.
For me, it was out of character because I didn't care about putting the guy over. I really didn't. I just didn't. I would have more fun in that ring. I mean, I don't see him anymore. Remember Mercury?
Yeah.
I remember us working the match, man.
Man, Mercury
Oh, yeah.
was
He was great.
Yeah.
But if you know
Mercury-
power, Mercury was a great worker. And if you watch this segment, I'm not jocking you because it's still ugly as shit. But I'm just saying, he was a wonderful worker.
What's up, Merc?
Yeah,
Good.
he was great. We had a lot of guys. What was Pat's name?
That was with Vinny.
Yeah,
He was
Just
Frankie. He's talking about Frankie Rizzo. Frankie
Oh,
Rizzo.
that one.
Yeah, Frizzo.
Frizzo.
Great worker. Great worker. We're getting the sign. I got cut off again. I'm talking too much. We need a new producer. I'm just saying this guy keeps cutting me off. You know, I'm doing this at the kindness of my heart. But he don't like me. He trying to have my car towed, but we don't get into that. But back to that. Jobbing is part of the business.
Yes.
It's a big part, making everyone. Wrestling is a business. It's something that people need to see, that guys need to understand that you do those things because I let you do it. You know, Dan hit me over the head with a chair. Do it for real. Well, I ain't gonna say I can't say it like that, but try it now. You know what I mean? But guys need to understand that's just the business. That's the art form. Ups and downs. Ups and downs of the art form.
Well, and it's also the believability. You know, you're talking like, again. If you have a guy like Bo Dallas come out,
Yes.
he's going to lose his fair share of matches. If you want to get him over, he has to start winning at some point.
Absolutely.
So put him in the ring with somebody who you're also trying to elevate to that position. So let's say hypothetically you have an Alberto Del Rio who I think is near the top. If you want to really get him over, you have to start putting him over like the John Cena's to get him up there. So the Bo Dallases have to be able to beat somebody that's on your radar.
Yes, someone that's
You have to build up that.
All right, but you know what? Look at the guys like we said, George South, and here got another one, Rocky King.
Oh,
Rocky King, who was
the fabulous
fantastic.
Freebirds, the manager for why I obviously wrestled before then.
Yeah.
100 pounds soaking wet.
But Rocky King and guys like that who came in,
Johnny Ross.
Johnny
Ross.
and you're talking about these guys.
Steve Lombardi.
They weren't, because they wrestled so much. You didn't consider them rookies,
No.
okay?
Right.
But when you see the enhanced talent, like Bo Dallas, or like the one kid in ROH, real smart, and I can't think of his name.
Cheeseburger?
No, well, not
Okay.
him. But no, the one that was in the prospect tournament, Italian kid.
I can't remember.
He won for the TV title and against.
I can't remember.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
And you hired this guy, Smart Mark?
Yeah, Smart Mark, and he has notes, but it has no that name.
No clue. Have notes.
Okay.
I wasn't expecting to talk about
But you
the
see
Italian
these
guy who
guys,
lost
like,
to
I'm
Ring of
seeing
Honor
these
before.
guys as rookies, and it kind of like it's taken a different turn where I'm like, now I'm looking at these guys as rookies, and maybe it changed my respect level. Not me personally in a sense, but like as a fan, changed my respect level, saying, oh, well, that guy always loses, versus, well, this kid's going to lose probably, but he's showing a lot of heart. You know what I mean? And maybe it's a turn for the better. I don't know. I like to have a guy. I love squash matches though, because a squash match gives this talent an opportunity to show this is what I do. When Lex Luger first came out as a prospect for the Horsemen,
That's right.
you first see him on JCP, and you're like, it was on Saturday night, and he comes out there and he's real methodical, and he's going out there and he's flexing, and he's real slow, and the match was real steady. He wasn't like crazy. He did a couple power moves and then done. You're like, wow, this guy's, at the time, blowing me away, because Rick Rude had already left. Rick Rude was the other hard body at that time. So now Luger comes in with this completely different shape. Now remember, everybody else had classic wrestler build, which is like Arn Anderson, myself. stuff like that. But
I
like,
like comparing stuff to Arn Anderson.
yeah,
The views expressed.
Are strictly of Danny J.
But the thing is that like to see that guy, that showcase, like you're now seeing what this guy can do. Okay, and now seeing what this guy can do, and now a match is starting to build, and this is building up to your pay-per-view. Be it Flair or whoever, like with Luger Flair in Baltimore, that was like a big thing. Okay, because you saw up until this point what Luger can do without flaw. See that thing, without flaw, you didn't see his weaknesses, and then when you finally saw the match, you went in there to see the test. Now, well, you know what he can do, but let's see what he can do against Flair. He's going against George South.
Yeah, but then you had Ric Flair
or whatever,
take it to that next level, because Ric Flair made Lex Luger look like $1 million. And I'm not saying Luger was a great wrestler. I mean, great entertainer.
Absolutely.
But by beating the Dusty Wolves, by beating the Dusty Wolves and the Cougar Jays, he definitely Flair finished it and made him a believable character.
But see, that's the talent of the enhancement guys.
Mm-hmm.
You come in here, we want to make something of you. So we're going to put you in there with these seasoned guys who can take you through, who can help you knock all the burrs off, shine you up, make you polished, make you something that is believable and something we can put out there and something that the fans can get behind. So that's the whole point.
I think coming back, I know we got about to wrap it up. Without those guys, half these guys wouldn't be here.
Right.
That's right.
They may not get the credit that you see these Hall of Fames, but they should sure be mentioned. These guys were the rock. They were the cornerstone. They were the guys that built. The people leaned on to make this what it is, to make these guys believe.
Right.
Without Danny J, there would be no Gemini.
Yeah, they would. They never got the credit that they deserve. The credit that they deserve is unfortunate that people don't understand this. It's very unfortunate, but these guys were some of the most incredible workers
Right.
that
And you know
the
what?
company had.
And I'll put it out there because we are in our final thoughts and stuff like that. I think if the World Wrestling Entertainment Company wants to do something with their Hall of Fame,
Some of these
Jobber
put
Wing?
these jobber guys in there.
Mm-hmm.
Put them in
Have
there.
a jobber wing.
Don't call it a jobber wing.
No.
But
They
put
were
these
great
guys in there.
wrestlers.
These guys honestly are.
Brooklyn Brawler, Iron Mike Sharp, all those guys Who's
Dusty
the
Wolf.
Dusty Wolf.
Got a 2 count on Ric Flair.
You had Rocky King, George South. You had Tommy Angel.
And don't get back now. Y'all keep
Outback
SD
Jack. Outback Jack.
Outback
Are we
Jack.
gonna fade to black here?
Well, anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. This was a great show. Join us at thatwaycoolwrestlingshow.com. Join us on Facebook at That Way Cool Wrestling Show. And until next time, for all these clowns right here, we'll see you at the matches. Goodbye, everybody.